Welcome to another episode of the Agent Spotlight Podcast. Today we had a fantastic conversation with Valda Braziel of Braziel Benefits, and we really covered a whole range of topics, starting from when she first got into insurance, working as a captive agent for a carrier, to how she felt kind of stuck and just capped overall with her earning potential, as well as just not being able to fully service her clients the way that she wanted to. She knew she wanted to go the independent route, but didn't quite know how, and that's how she found national insurance markets. We go through how we helped her from the very beginning to where she's at now on her 8-year journey working with us. And now she's at a point where she's looking to break through to the next level by adding to her team. Stay tuned to the end to see how working with us can be a benefit to you if you're an agent, or if you're a client, how you can get in contact with Valda and work with her. Our building is for sale.
So are you buying that building?
No, my father-in-law bought the building actually for their business. So my wife works with her dad too. So we're both in family businesses.
Okay.
And they sell like commercial interiors and whatnot. They've always been over that way.
Okay.
And their current office is like literally half a block. Like they're on the same block essentially.
Okay.
And their building's kind of dinky at this point, and they wanted to get out. They don't like their landlord. Their roof's leaking. He's saying that he fixed the roof, and then he doesn't, all that type of stuff. So then right across the street from them, basically, this building became for sale. And so right around the same time that we essentially decided we weren't going to buy this one, because it's just going to cost way too much money, going to cost too much money to put everything into it, all that type of stuff. They bought that building.
Okay.
And it's 15,000 square feet. It's 3 floors. So it has, it's like this. So 1 floor, 2 floor, and then there's a basement. And the basement, they're going to make like a little showroom for medical, because they'll do medical type facilities. They do a lot with like WVU medicine in particular. And then also they're going to do like a classroom. They've set up just actual little schools. They've done nursing programs with like actual classrooms and whatnot that are going around the country now. And so they're going to make that like a mini showroom. And then their first floor will be them with their office and like showroom type stuff there. And then we're going to take the second floor.
You want the second floor?
Yep. Mm-hmm. So
very nice.
Yeah, it was like kind of perfect storm in terms of the timing aspect of it, especially because we were gonna have to make a move at some point anyways, because more than likely whoever does end up buying this building, they're gonna knock it down.
Rebuild.
So we would have to do something, and overall probably like long term it makes the most sense for us to move over there. Like I'm probably gonna be the one who's gonna be here the longest.
Let me tell you something that I didn't know, and I know you didn't know. How long have you all been in this building?
1979.
So, and I just found this out. I remember that I literally just found this out.
Yeah.
I remember being a little girl. My dad is he was an engineer by profession, but he started out being a mechanical draftsman.
Okay.
And his career proceeded from that point. And I can remember as a little girl, we used to go someplace, and my dad had I don't know if you know drafting, but the big draft boards, and they used to do all of this drawings and all this stuff. And I was little, and I'm talking like 5, 6 years old. But I remember that. I didn't ever know where it was or where I went. My father passed away in December, and we're going through paperwork. My father was in this building.
No way.
He was in this building. And as I was walking through, of course, I don't remember, but the paperwork talks about Saxonburg Boulevard.
Yeah.
And when I saw it, I'm like, why does that sound so familiar to me? And it was 915.
915.
This was the building. He
Yeah.
had an office. He just had one office. I don't know where,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
there was
yeah.
an office in this building.
Yeah, it would have been on the second floor too then, where we're
Okay.
at, because the whole second floor is now offices.
It was an office.
Um
And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. But I remember just going and he would be working and we would
Yeah.
go and, he just had probably like this, just a one room
Yeah.
because he had like a side business where
Yeah.
he was doing drawings for businesses and whatnot. And that, I mean, he could draw to a T. I mean, he was like that
Yeah.
precise in what he
Yeah.
did. But he was in this building.
That's wild. That's crazy.
So we're talking 50 years later or
Right.
more, 50 some years later.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
crazy. I said, that's a
Wow.
little, mhm.
Funny thing is, the building hasn't been updated since then.
Probably not. Probably not. But I'm excited for you. That's
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah, I'm
Good,
very
good,
excited overall.
Good,
It's
good.
gonna be great. It's like just a nice little new catalyst. We're in transition overall, anyways. And it just is. I think it's coming at a good time.
Yeah, it is.
And we're gonna be hiring and whatnot coming up here
Okay.
soon as well. So like, it's good. It's
So hiring as far as what?
we're gonna be hiring for Medicare in general to help assist, like with Ruth in
So
particular.
you're going to be hiring more internal staff or
Yeah.
taking on
Both. We're gonna
agents are going to work in the building?
No, not quite yet,
Okay.
at least right now.
That's what I was gonna
But
say.
yeah, we need operations support essentially. Because for the most parts, my dad's always helped, and then I'm stretched
Of
very
course.
thin.
Mhm.
So we're kind of at a somewhat of like a capacity, at this point. You know how business goes up and down like this, right? You're always on the seesaw going back and forth as you're kind of inbound heavy or service heavy in that instance. And right now we're very service heavy. Yep.
Mhm.
So for us to actually have the capacity to, continue to bring on new agents and things along those lines, we need that back end support that really I don't have the time to fully support, at this point.
And it's funny because that's where I am
Yeah.
in my own business because it's always been me
Yep.
and I can't do it anymore. And I'm trying to this year I said my key word for 2026 was expansion because I can no longer service
Yep.
my book the
Mhm.
way I have prior to. And
Yeah.
I know people are getting missed and stuff's happening. So I need either a VA, but I really don't want a VA, or a office assistant because I really now have to hire.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have to hire.
I think so. Go into a little bit more. Have you kicked the tires on either of those yet? What are your overall thoughts?
Everybody's saying start with a VA. I just don't know how the VA is going to work. I just, and they're saying, oh, you get a VA, and then the VA could be in the Philippines or wherever. And I just don't know how that would work because I'm such a hands-on people person
For sure.
that I really think I need to have a person that I can sit across the table from and talk to and something of that nature.
Correct.
So I'm leaning more that way
Yeah.
than the VA, but I have to.
You're like a lot of our agents just in general, where
Mhm.
they are very localized,
Mhm.
right? Not most of our agents do not sell in, they say they live in PA or Florida or whatever. They're not selling in, say, like California,
Right, no,
or
no,
and
no.
just obviously a very two different worlds
Right.
at that point, but like they are very localized. And with Medicare in particular, how that population is, especially say they call into a carrier, and because we can't do everything all the time, sometimes they have to actually make the call. We try to do as much as we possibly can for them.
Can't do everything.
But sometimes they have to make that call, and what's the first thing that they get upset about whenever they call in? They couldn't understand the person on the member services line. And,
exactly.
I think relating that right back to you and saying, hey, yeah, the VA, definitely could be cheaper,
It could
right?
be, yeah, it would be much cheaper.
But in terms of probably the overall, service aspect
And I agree. That
being
makes,
hands-on and whatnot, right? I mean, that those are where your clients are. They're in
Mm-hmm.
that age bracket for 65 and older.
Mm-hmm. And they're just not going to understand the language barriers. And people going, Valda, I just can't understand. Can you call for me?
Right, and then
I
you're
can't.
right back to
Yeah, or I can't. They have to
yeah,
talk to you, and
yeah,
and it is, and I'm back to doing all the legwork. So
correct.
and I said I
Yeah,
want to have somebody on board. I'm leaning towards second quarter, towards the end of second quarter.
yeah,
I have to be able to get people trained on systems and
for sure.
CRMs and this and
Yeah,
that before I cannot go into annual enrollment. I refuse
yeah,
this year. I promised myself I am not going into annual enrollment by myself because I
yep,
can't do it. So
yep.
that means I have to have someone ready to go third quarter
Mm-hmm.
as we start reaching out and getting
For sure.
information and getting
Yeah.
meds and da da da
Yeah.
da da. I have to.
And just like you said, you want to have them trained on just what you're doing, what the
Mhm.
process is. Obviously, they're not selling,
No,
but they're trained on how to actually
help.
support you.
Exactly.
Because in the end, that's what they're going to be there for, to
Exactly.
support you as your like admin,
Yep,
essentially.
that's what I need.
And personally, I think that's the way to go
Mhm.
overall, just in general, because that also then frees you up to still do the thing that you actually like to do, which is sell and sit across from somebody
Exactly.
and talk to them about their benefits and see what you can do to help them and
Mhm.
guide them through the whole process
And I
whatnot.
can't do that because I'm finding now I'm doing too much. I mean, I have to be in the office like 2, 3 days a week, and that gives me only like 2 days to be out
Yeah,
because I'm doing so much servicing and
yeah,
inputting this and putting this into the CRMs,
Mhm.
and then you got to put all,
Yeah,
and it's too much.
for sure.
And I've done it for too long, and I'm like, I'm not doing it this year.
Yeah.
I cannot. And I know that overall, like anything else, it affects your ability to connect. I like to be out. So I want to be out in the community. I want to be doing vending events. I want to be at the senior centers. I want to
Yeah.
be wherever. And I
Yeah.
can't do that anymore because I need to be almost sitting behind my desk because no one's taking the phone calls.
Correct.
So I'm out and I come back and I got 20 phone calls or 30
For
phone
sure.
calls or whatever I have to now
Yeah.
do. So that's the whole next day.
Yeah, exactly. So you just lost it all.
So I just
Yeah,
lost them.
yeah. You
So
lost it
that's
all.
where I am. So we're in the same
That's
kind of focus.
No, absolutely. I
moving
mean, it's
forward.
very, very exciting overall
Mhm.
for you. I mean, it's you said expansion.
Mhm.
That's exactly what that will finally kind of allow you to do.
Yeah, and
which is
I think this
exciting.
is a good time for me because it's this is year on my own. This is year 8
Yep,
for me.
it is.
So it was those first 7 years of
Mm-hmm.
figuring it out
Yeah.
and doing it and
Mm-hmm.
building the book and all that. I'm like,
Yep.
oh, I can handle this. No, I can no longer. So at year 8, I think it's really necessary
Yep.
for me because if I want to continue to grow, which I do,
Mhm.
I have to do this.
Yeah.
Or like you said, my business is just going to be stable.
Correct.
And I don't want it to be. I mean, I want it stable, but you want growth.
It's a different. Yes.
Yeah,
correct.
I
It's a
want
different
growth.
kind of stability.
Right. So I want it stable,
Yeah.
but I need to see the growth as well. And I can't grow now without
Correct.
hiring people.
For sure.
So.
It's funny that you mentioned also the 8 years aspect because I did look back to
Mhm.
see exactly how
Mhm.
long it was whenever you first started
It
with
was
us,
8
and
years.
it's almost 8 years
8
to the
years.
day.
Yep. It's 8
Yep.
years. It'll be
First week of March.
March.
Yeah.
It's 8 years.
First week of March, which is like
Next
basically like
week.
yeah,
Exactly.
a week and a
Mhm.
half away
That's
essentially,
where
which
I
is
am.
yeah,
So this is year 8.
pretty crazy.
It
So
is.
take me a little bit back even before then, whenever you met us and got introduced to national insurance markets. What got you to that point?
What got me here?
Yeah.
So I was with Highmark for ungodly amount of years. I started in Highmark in 2005. And so that took me through many transitions. I mean, I was there when Part D started. That's literally when I started
Yeah.
Highmark.
Yeah.
When Part D started, I started December of 2005.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a good ride. I had no problems with that. But as like anything else, you get tired of it. And I was tired of lugging boxes. I was tired of lugging boxes. I was tired of lugging more boxes. So February of whatever year that was now, but it was a February, was it 2017, 2018? 2018. That was my last time with Highmark.
Mm-hmm.
And literally, I remember leaving Highmark that day. Like, I'm starting my own agency. It was never a thought. It was never like, what's next? I'm like, I'm going independent.
Yeah.
But I had no idea how to go independent because I literally, I was captive for all those years.
Yeah.
But the blessing for me was that many of my former Highmark coworkers had already left and went independent.
Yeah.
One of those was also a director. She had left and she became a director for another carrier at the time.
Yeah.
And I left Highmark and I called her on the phone. I said, what do I do? And she said, do this, 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 and this, and call National Insurance Markets. I had no idea who National Insurance Markets was. I literally did not.
Yeah.
I knew your dad's name, but I did not know the name National Insurance Markets.
Yeah.
I knew his name because of his history.
Yeah.
And she gave me the phone number and she said, call them. And so there was another person, Donna, who was already with you. I called her as well. And I said, hey, is this a good idea? She said, great idea. I said, okay. And I called in. And that's what led me here.
Yeah.
And literally, that's how I even figured out who National Insurance Markets was. Had no idea. I was totally green. Of course, I knew Medicare. I had been doing Medicare. I loved Medicare. That wasn't my issue. It's like, how do I now do this on my own without being a captive agent? So I came in, sat down around probably one of those tables out there, and I talked to your dad. I talked to you. I think you were kind of new here.
Yeah.
But I remember him
It was
calling
still
you
early.
in
I was
the
like
room.
about two years-ish.
I remember him calling you in, and I talked to Ruth, and we sat around the table, and somebody else was there. I don't know who that was. And he kind of walked me through the process with the paperwork, how to get started, because I knew nothing.
Yeah.
And it literally was your company, which National Insurance Markets, that helped me to get my footing to become an independent agent and to start my own. Like literally signing contracts. I had no idea how to be appointed with anybody. I was only with Highmark. So I didn't know how to be appointed with any other carriers.
Yeah.
And literally it was this that got me started.
Yeah. What that because I'm sure it was kind of nerve-wracking, right? You know, you left. You were there for 12 years roughly, give or take, but you know, you knew whenever you were leaving you wanted to start an agency. What was that feeling like whenever one, you actually made the decision, all right, I'm done, I'm going to start the agency, and then, you know, aside from being like, I don't know what to do type of thing, like, do you remember, you know, one, how it felt actually leaving, two, once then you finally actually, you know, really fully jumped into it?
I remember that phone call that I made. And I remember saying, I'm free. And that's how I felt, because as the years went on, and I was with Highmark before really brokers were a big thing. It was everybody was captive.
Yeah.
Like everybody was captive. All the carriers had captive agents. So we didn't know the broker world, but we watched it come through. We watched it come through. I watched it, whereas, hey, I sold something, but now all of a sudden it's in the hands of somebody else. Who is this person? What happened? Who was this company? So we watched the brokers come on board. And, you know, it was just like, okay, but I'm captive. And honestly, my money capped. I was captive, my money capped.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what do you mean I can't make any more money? Well, this is your salary. This is where it capped at. And I knew I wanted to be more. And you know what really started happening is as I started growing in Medicare and my clients started wanting more options and I couldn't offer them the options.
Yeah.
So I couldn't say, okay, here's Highmark and here's Aetna and here and here and here.
Yeah.
All I could do was offer them what's right here. And that wasn't always a good fit for my clients.
For sure.
And as I became more relational with them, I wanted the ability to say, this isn't working for you, but this will.
Yeah.
And I didn't have that. And that's that's where I thought that I'm free, because now I could really service my clients the way that I felt that they should be serviced, to give them what they needed and not just what somebody is telling me to offer them.
Yeah, because, I mean, granted, you've been in the business longer than I have at this point, but you know as well as I do that Medicare is not one size fits all.
It's not.
At all.
It's not.
And so whenever you have clients and you're captive, right, and they come to you and they have questions, and you know that, and you're a client first, you know, agency.
Exactly.
That it's hard to, like, you kind of have to walk away from it but they want to work with you, right? Because they trust you.
Right.
You've worked with them, for some of them, for a long time, not just maybe 1 year at that point. And it does probably hurt almost. I think that might be a good word to describe it as, that you can't do anything else with them because you have to only offer them one thing.
That's right.
And that's, yes, they have multiple options within the one thing, but that still may not be the best fit for them.
Exactly.
And you can't necessarily do anything with it. I do think that is a huge asset of, having someone like us to kind of help you go through that process, because we are independent.
Exactly.
We are not captive, and we're not even just independent in the sense of we can offer a number of different carriers and you can get licensed with a number of different carriers. You don't even have to get licensed with every carrier through us. Like, if you want to just work with us for one carrier or two carriers, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. We will still help.
Right.
You can have, because we have that. Not everybody writes all of their business through us. We're not picky.
Right.
I'm not trying to be greedy here, right? We're just trying to help as best as we possibly can as well. So whatever that fit ends up being, if that is everything, awesome. If it's one or two, also awesome. We're still going to do whatever we possibly can to help the agent and, in turn, the client, essentially.
And that's exactly true. And that's where I say, because I do have other carriers, and I have certain carriers with you and certain carriers someplace else. But it works.
Yeah.
It absolutely works. And I appreciate that, because everybody doesn't function like that. It was like all or nothing.
Correct.
And that's not a good fit for me, because I know I like the feel here. I've always liked the small, because I don't want to say that I'm a small, but I like the personal feeling that national insurance markets is, because that's the way you function. You're very, as you said, people oriented. You're very face to face.
We're a family business.
And that's my nature. And my clients, and it's even part of kind of my brand, that my clients become family. I've had clients, and honestly, I have had clients for some people on my book. I won't say as long as I've been in, but I have had clients that are on my book about 15 years.
Yeah.
That I've serviced in one way or another in over 15 years.
Yeah.
They found me. I of course, I left a carrier being captive, and they just like, where'd you go? And then, you're still out, you're doing meetings, and your name is out there, and they're calling, and they ended up still coming to me. I'm servicing them. And I have literally serviced them for years, 10, 15 years. So they're like family. I have people saying, Valda, you're my best friend. I'm really not your best friend, but I'm glad that you see me that way. But I wouldn't call you my best friend. They want to call me, I have to find a new apartment. Do you have any recommendations? I'm not in real estate. We can certainly talk about health insurance. I really don't have a recommendation for you, but I'm glad. But see, we've gotten that relationship, and I'm a very relationship type of person.
Yeah.
And I really care about my clients, and that's Medicare.
Yeah.
Because we're dealing with that population. Some of them are very lonely. They've lost spouses. They don't have anybody else. Their children have moved out of the area. And if you develop that relationship with your clients, you'll have them for life.
For sure. We see it all the time. And we see it on the client side as well as the agent side.
Exactly.
Right? We have a relationship with, we have some agents. Obviously, we're always trying to bring on new agents. So some that have just started working with us, some that have worked with us for a really long time. You've been with us for 8 years now. And, it's not always just, about the business type of stuff. You came in today. we're chatting, you know, you're up there, you're talking with my dad, you're talking with Ruth, my mom is here today, so you're talking with her, you know, you're talking about the grandkids, asking me about my kid, you know, like, because
it's a family-owned business, and you treat your agents as family as well. We call in. Who answers the phone? Kim or Bar, whoever answers the phone. How you doing? How's your day? Hi, Valda. How you doing? Where is Ruth? She's on the call. You know, I'll put you in her voice, and it's personal.
Yeah.
And that makes it so that you want to remain here. I don't feel like I am a number. If that makes sense.
Yes, absolutely.
And I don't know how many agents are here.
Absolutely.
But I don't feel like, you know, I'm number, you know, 30 or whatever. I am Valda.
Yeah.
And when I call, they know my name. I'm taken care of. People get back to you. I don't have to wait weeks or months or days even. I mean, I called Ruth yesterday and hey, Ruth, I need this, and that. Okay, Valda, I'll send it right to you. Literally. Yeah. Within 10 minutes, I had what she needed to send to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I don't feel like a number. I don't feel like I'm working for a national company where they don't know who I am. I mean, we're right here within the city of Pittsburgh. Yep. You know, we're outside in the suburban area, but we're still within the city limits of Pittsburgh. Yeah. So it works well. Yeah. So I recommend whoever's listening, if you are looking for a company to work for, I highly would recommend that you are working or at least check out National Insurance Markets.
I definitely appreciate that.
I do. Absolutely. And I sincerely mean that. I'm not just saying that. I'm not just saying that because we're sitting here talking, but I'm very sincere about that. So the recommendation I received, I appreciate it. Yeah. So I do recommend, you know, that people seek you out.
I really, truly appreciate that. And, you know, everybody can take a recommendation or, you know, specifically maybe this recommendation, and, you know, they're free to make the decision, you know, for themselves to come and work with us, work with someone else, talk to whoever they want to, right? There's a number of agencies that do the same type of thing as we do, whether they are just here in Pittsburgh, whether they're across the country. You know, we are definitely not the only ones in this business. Exactly. But from that standpoint is, right, you took the recommendation whenever you got it, and we're sitting here talking
8 years later. Exactly.
You know, we've had other agents. I just was talking to someone else, same type of thing. He's been in the business for 5 years. He took a recommendation, same type of thing. We're doing the exact same thing. You know, we've had it for 20 years. Right. Whatever it ends up being, or it's just someone that we recruited in the first place. You know, you talk about the relationship aspect. You know, the agents are our clients, so to speak. You know, clients are our clients too, because we do write some business.
Yeah, but you're right. Agents are your clients.
But they are our clients, and we want to have a relationship with them, because the only way that any of the success, you know, happens is because we win together. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You know, we are fully invested into you growing your business, wanting you to do better. You know, we're just talking right at the beginning of this about expansion. You know, about expansion and what you can do and how you can do it. And, you know, that's what we're here for. Hey, I may not have all the answers. We may not have all the answers right away.
But together we're going to work it out.
That's the goal, right? Because, you know, what is it? The rising tide lifts all ships type of saying. You know, we can't do it by ourselves. Right. And hey, it's always nice to have somebody to bounce the ideas off of. You know, we coming into today may not have even thought that we were about to start talking just about, you know, your process and you hiring and all of that. But
had no idea.
Right? And
had no idea.
Just, you know, sometimes where it goes, but have ideas now, right? Of what you may want to do and may spark something else. And you never know. It's funny. You never know who you're going to meet, right? And you never know where that's potentially going to lead, because we were talking about hiring as well. And I was just out last week at an event, a networking event, and I haven't done very many of them, to be frank with you. And I loved it. It was awesome, and I want to do more of them. But from that, I met with a couple financial advisors. We were just talking about what we did and everything. I'd never met them in person before. And we were going through like what our business is and things along those lines. And I was telling them that we're going to be growing internally and are going to be looking to hire and whatnot. And he's like, I think I might have someone that might work for you guys.
Wow.
Let me reach out to him, and I'll see like if he's still interested in looking for a new position and whatnot, and I'll get him in touch with you. And he sent me his resume yesterday.
Wow.
I've never met the guys before. I got referred to try to like join their group in particular, but I met them in person to see if it would work out. And you never know. I haven't talked with the person who connected with me yet. So who knows where that potentially leads.
Right.
But it just kind of goes to show, like, again, you never know.
Yeah.
You really don't.
And you have to get out there. And I do like networking events. I won't say I go to them often, but I have several organizations I belong to, and there's always, this networking event or that networking event or this bash or that bash or this chamber is having this or this chamber is having that. So they really do work when it comes to a presence and a community presence, and and you really don't. You never know who you're going to connect with. So I do try to go to a couple last week I was at. So I do try to hit the networking events as much as possible, but they take a lot of time.
They do. I mean, it's a relationship type thing, especially, in our regard, right? Because sometimes with yours, like, you have to, and something that I'm going to kind of learn as I kind of start doing more, right, is to figure out and pick and choose kind of what actually makes sense for you to go to, as I'm sure you've learned over the years. Like you've probably went to a number of different things. You said you're a member of, a couple different organizations just in general. You probably went to a number of different events with either that specific organization and then some others, and then realized, this one maybe isn't for me.
Exactly.
But this one has really worked out, or I like the people here a little bit
when
more.
You're comfortable and what their focus are, because a lot of them depend. I went to just events, even with vending events, and I started doing a vending event last year, and I noticed that the clientele that was coming, these weren't Medicare eligibles.
Yeah.
So I don't necessarily need to be here because it's not, like you said, it's not the focus of the client, or it's not the target market
for sure
of the client that I am interested in working with. Yes, we all know that you can be Medicare eligible at any age, but it's not really putting me with the senior market.
Correct.
That is my primary target.
It needs to be worth your time, especially if you're not taking a call, right? So, because right now you're still by yourself, right? So taking a call from one of your current clients, or actually out writing new business, if you're taking time away from those two things in particular, then it needs to be worth it.
It needs to,
because you're not going there for just like 15 minutes.
What's my ROI? What am I getting out of this? I'm putting into, but what am I getting out of it? So those are the things I've learned to really look at along the way. Is it worth my time? Because time is very precious right through here when it comes to everything. So I'm very, very, very conscious of my time, and I need to be. Because as I said, I don't have time right now. The service, the clientele. So time is very precious to me right now.
Yeah. No, I mean, I wholeheartily agree with you there, because we were chatting before this. Like, I am in a very, very similar boat in that aspect. My time is very few and far between. Overall, whenever it comes to what we're doing here as a business and everything, and I have to be very picky and choosy, for lack of a better way to put it.
And then you have to go home and deal with it. You got to get some time to that little infant in your house. So.
Yeah, I know.
And time is
precious. It's the one thing. So relating that to the baby, right, is over the last couple years, even before we had him, I've definitely grown up a lot, and with that have definitely become much more intentional about things that I'm doing.
Exactly.
Having the baby has definitely even taken that to another level, because I've realized, like, you just can't get anything done if you're not, especially with a 9-month-old. Right. Like, because if you just try to fly by the seat of your pants with a kid, as well as trying to grow a business and be a husband and be a friend and all of that, like,
be very strategic.
It just does not work.
Very strategic.
It does not work. Yeah. So, I go to bed really early now. Like, hey, he goes to bed, I'm trying to be asleep by 9 o'clock.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I wish.
But I wake up at 4.
Yeah.
Because
start your day.
I start my day then, and that's the time that I have because he is sleeping that I can actually get stuff done that's important to me as well.
Right.
For me to one, still keep myself active and things along those lines and do stuff that I enjoy because I have that I'm making that time. Mm-hmm. Otherwise then if I just, did the whole stay up late, watch TV, because that's all I'd be doing anyways, right? At 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night.
Right.
So it's like, well, okay, let's just actually, get to bed, wake up and do the things that I want to do, because that's whenever I'm most energized anyways. Most people usually, I would say, are probably more energized in the morning than they are later in the day.
Right. I'm a morning person too.
Yeah, so let's...
Not 4 o'clock, but I'm a morning person.
Trust me, that was not a right away type of thing. That has been years and years in the making of earlier and earlier and earlier and earlier. And then like once we had him, it was like, okay, well, if I want to do this, then
you have to do it.
Gotta make it a priority. If it's a priority, then you gotta make the time for it.
Right.
And with that, I've started coming in here, trying to be a little earlier just because one, I'm up, but then two, I can get some things done. And I've started leaving earlier. Because, just like you said, like I have stuff to do at home. He's in daycare 5 days a week, and he goes to bed at 7. I'm, still currently on the way home 45 minutes. So if I leave here at 5,
you have no time.
And I get home at 5:45, he goes to bed an hour and a half later. Like, I spent an hour and a half with my kid. Like, I don't want that life.
Right, exactly.
Personally, So it's definitely been an adjustment, like overall for that aspect, but it's been awesome. It's been awesome. It really has been. So
good for you.
I know we talked earlier. I'll be showing you some pictures and whatnot whenever we.
Yeah, I want to see them on the wall next time. the next venture, the next location. Venture. We'll
exactly. Right now, I think at this point I kind of have to keep my office the way that it is, just to say that I've left it this way the entire time, because we talked a little bit about it and joked before, but I have been here. It'll be 12 years in June, and I have nothing hung up. I don't have a single picture. I have like, I don't know why. Like, it's just been totally fine for me. It just
worked for you.
Yeah. It's not something I ever put a bunch of effort into, obviously. And, I come in, I'm here to work. Right. I'm here to work and
not to look around at the decor. Well, we have a picture up there. Not to look at the decor.
Yeah, exactly. This is stuff that I brought from home, so that way we had something.
To look at, right?
Yeah, exactly. Until we, one decided we wanted to actually keep doing this overall, and then maybe had like an actual little bit better of a setup that's a little bit more convenient and whatnot.
I was at an event last week, and they were talking about your brand.
Yeah.
And developing your own brand, which I've done over the years, but that's your brand. You're more focused on, your focus. You're not worried about the decor. You're not worried about what color is my wall and all this stuff. Your brand is it's your business. It's your focus. It's the people. It's the Medicare. It's the whatever you're working on at the time. So it doesn't matter, what the decor looks like. Whereas me, I need to know, okay, what color is this? And is this match? And is this purple? And is this orange? And does it have it? So, but that's my brand.
Correct.
That's who I am.
For
and
sure.
I think that does wonders for how we focus and work on our clients. My clients are funny. They know I can be talking to them and somebody will send me a text. I love purple if it's not obvious, and it's part of my brand. And they'll send me pictures. Valda, did you see this? It's purple. Or Valda, you like butterflies? And they'll give me cards with butterflies on. Go hang this on your wall. Yeah. But has developed with part of my brand and who I am. Yeah. And it's just who you are. Yeah. So it's okay.
Well, and especially, you have an office, right? Mm-hmm. If someone comes into your office and they see that, then one, they know kind of in a sense like who you are, right?
Exactly.
Right. With that, especially as you bring in clients and everything, and they see everything that you got on the walls and whatnot, and then it's a talking point.
It's conversation.
Right? It's a talking point. I have talked to a number of people about this overall with golf in particular. So I absolutely love golf. I am obsessed with golf, my wife would say. I think it's healthy. She says no. But
it depends on the obsession.
That's neither here nor there. But in general, I call it committed. So we'll use that.
We'll use that.
Yeah, we'll use that. But whenever I go and play somewhere, especially somewhere that I think is worth it and is nice and all that, I'll buy something from there, right? I'll buy a shirt, or I'll buy a hat, or a quarter zipper, a vest, whatever it ends up being that has the logo on it, because it's the same type of thing, right? It's not necessarily on my wall, but whenever I go and meet with somebody and they know or they understand it, then there's the talking point.
Right.
There's the relationship right off the bat, because some things are like an if you know type of thing. And then if somebody's into that same thing, especially in our business, right, where we're talking with agents, and it's not just a one policy type thing.
Exactly.
Right? Like it can be a years and years and years and years. Like, you want to have similarities with people. And that is definitely like my thing. Like, my thing is definitely golf now at this point. And that's now resonated with people that I talk to overall. And that's how I've developed a relationship.
It does. It helps with the relationship, because like I was telling you, I have clients that I've had for years. And so I've watched their families. They've watched my family change. Grandkids come on, kids graduate from college, and those type of things. And you're in relationship, and that does a couple things for me, because they'll call, "Hey Valda, how you doing? How's your daughter?" One of my daughters is a singer. "How's your daughter? Where's she at? Is she in the country? Is she someplace singing? And is she here? Is she there? How's the grandbaby? How's the new grandbaby?"
Yeah.
But you know what that's done for me? We've developed relationship. But not only that, now here comes the referrals.
Yep, for sure.
Here comes the
Medicare
referrals.
is huge with referrals.
It's huge with referrals, because we're in relationship. I had someone call me today. People will call me, Valda, and they'll say, "Help me with this." And I'm like, "Oh no, I can't help you. I'm sending you to my agent, because Valda knows. I don't know." And I get phone calls because of relationships that I've built with people, just because I like to talk. I like to communicate. And that's how, honestly, I've built my business, is referrals. And community, being in the community,
sure.
being out there and face to face with people. But it's really built on referrals.
Yeah.
I don't really, as I say, buy leads. I don't do that.
Yeah.
I deal with the people.
Yep.
And that's how my business has grown.
And like you said, yours is definitely twofold in that instance, right? You have the referral aspect, and then you've been in the community. You've done the grassroots type marketing.
Exactly.
There's multiple different ways to go about it, right? Because you also, coming into the business, yes, like you said, you were familiar with Medicare, but you didn't have a book of business to rely on or anything, because you were captive with a carrier.
When you walk away from all those people.
Yeah, you walked away from it all.
That's right.
So you had to figure out a way to actually get your name out there and bring in new business, because you were starting your own agency. And there's so many different ways that somebody can go about it. There is definitely not a same thing like Medicare, right? There's not a one size fits all starter process for anyone. It's what they feel kind of like most comfortable with, and what they value too. Like, you didn't have referrals, maybe a couple type of thing, because you knew people, like you serviced them whenever you're with the carrier, but not enough to sustain a business at that point. So you had to get out there and figure out a way to bring in new business. And if it's not buying leads, which is perfectly fine, get out there in your local community, especially if you want to be known as that local agent.
Right. And I tell agents that now, because I've been in Medicare. This is 21 years for me being in Medicare.
Yeah.
And so I get a lot of agents say, "Well, what did you do to grow your business? What are your recommendations for growing your business as a new agent?" And I'll tell people, as you said, for me, it was grassroots, because I had been in Medicare. I had been the face of of my carrier in different communities because we
Yeah.
served counties. So I
Yeah.
was the face of that carrier in certain communities. So I was out there. But when I started my own agency, I didn't start out right away with, like you said, I didn't have a book, and I didn't start out right away with selling. What I did was literally go back out into the community. I had been on Chambers, so now I became a member of the chamber,
Yeah.
not through the carrier.
Yeah.
I started. I'd done vending events, so now I'm doing as Braziel Insurance, doing vending events
Yeah.
and going into the senior centers and say, hey, let me come in and do a Medicare 101,
Yep.
or let me come in and call bingo numbers or
Yeah.
whatever you have going on that
Yeah.
month, and what so it was really like, get out into the community, become known as the expert. I know we can't call ourselves Medicare
Yeah.
expert, but
Yeah.
become known as an expert in your field. So people will begin to call you, and they will, because I always say, you know more than what they know. I don't care what you know more than what your client knows. So that they will begin to see you as the expert in the field that you're in. And they know that you know Medicare, you know the Medicare plans, you know the MedSup, you know the supplemental benefits, but you have to get out there. And that's what I tell people. I don't tell people not to buy leads, because certainly if that's what you do, that's what you do.
For sure.
Like you said, there's different roads to get to your destination. But for me, it was get out there, be relational, so that people would begin to say, hey, you need someone helping with Medicare. You're turning 65, you're retiring, call Valda. So I did. I spent really probably the first 6 months of my starting my business to really get in the community and get my face out there, and attend everything I could possibly attend at that time. I met with, and over the years I did this in there, but I met with the financial advisors, and those advisors that I had relationships with prior, I still had relationships, but now as an independent is what I did. So, and that's what I did to grow my business. I still do that, probably not as much as I did, because
goes back to the time aspect.
It's back to the time, and it's back to, a lot of my business is referral, so I don't have to do it as much, but I enjoy doing that. So that's always my recommendation.
Yeah.
If you're new, grassroots is still important. And I was before COVID. So my business was built how? Face to face. I didn't have the luxury of doing a Zoom call.
Yeah.
I didn't have the luxury of, sitting on the phone. You couldn't sit on the phone and sell a plan, before COVID.
Yeah.
I mean, you get
Nobody was
dinged for
doing that.
stuff
Yeah.
like that. You had to be out there face to face and doing the Medicare 101s and doing the annual enrollment. You were doing the client review meetings and what have you. So after COVID changed everything. I didn't know how to do a Zoom call. Come on, we never did anything like that. But now it's so common. But you know what? I'm not comfortable with that. I can do them, and I do them. I do have clients that want, let's do it virtually. Okay, fine. Here's the link. We can do it virtually. But face to face still works for me. I could fill out a paper app quicker than what I can do that app online. If you had put an application in front of me, because I'm old school and that's how I was trained.
Yeah.
But I love the new way of doing business as well. I do enjoy that because our clientele has gotten younger.
For sure.
So we're dealing with I call them my younger seniors as opposed to the older seniors. So you have to, as you're developing a business, and I have had to transition to where I can work with the younger seniors, and they're used to doing virtual meetings. They're used to doing things over the phone. They're used to signing an app, signature or voice or however. They're used to doing that. And so I've had to make that shift. It's still funny because I still have the 90-year-old, and I'll say, well, hey, we can do a virtual. Valda, can you come out? I'll have coffee for you. And so I have to make that shift back because that's what they're comfortable with doing. And it's okay with me.
Yeah.
It's really okay with me because I've learned how to, like you said, it's a balance.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a balance in how you do. And the same thing you've had to do. I've watched them over the years evolve, particularly again after COVID, and how you had to deal with us as agents as your clients
Yep.
because things became more online. We now have the ability to go and do have the CRM. We have the ability to go and put everything online, which I love. Trust me, I love that.
Me too.
It makes life so much easier. But we never had that ability. So I like how the business has evolved and how it is making it much easier for us to do the work so that we can still work with the client.
Yeah.
So I enjoy that part. I and enjoy the meetings that you do every month. That the trainings that we can do and learn how to do this and learn how to do that. So things have evolved, and I'm happy about it.
Yeah.
Still old school in some ways.
For sure.
But I like
it's all
the
growing.
evolution.
Yeah.
Right.
We have to adapt no matter what, whatever you're doing, whatever business you're in. It's not just in relation to ours. Like if you're not adapting what you're doing and growing with what you're doing, then like it's just not going to work in the end. Yeah. So, as things have evolved, and for anybody that's listening, for you, and there may be a prospective client, take me through what your process is like. What can they expect whenever, they pick up the phone, they call Braziel Benefits, and what are their steps then at that point? What do you take them through so they know what they're getting into?
Usually if I get a phone call from a client, I'm kind of doing some investigating, what's going on. Are you turning 65? Are you retiring? So I do that type of thing. But what I've started doing was really trying to use as much technology as possible. So it will send them a link to my calendar, and they will then be able to sign up to do a 15-minute Medicare consultation, initial Medicare consultation with me. Literally just a 15-minute call to find out what your needs are, where you are, how do you need my help, what's going on. And that's what I'm investigating. Are you retiring? Are you turning 65? Have you already applied for Medicare A and B? Where are we in the process? Then once I'm done with them, at that point, they're going to get my client assessment. They got to fill out the scope of appointment. So all that's being sent to them virtually, if possible. I'm going to send them link. They'll fill that out. Once I get that back, then I am going to start investigating plans for them. And then in that same process, you'll get a phone call from me like, hey, got everything I need from you. Our next step is that we need to meet. Do you want that virtually, which we can certainly do that, or do you want to schedule an appointment and I can come out and sit down either in your home or meet you in the community, or you can come to me and we can have that conversation.
Yeah.
And that's really my process. I'd still like the face-to-face. So if we're going to sit down, then I'm going through and explaining in detail Medicare 101 process, explaining that to you because I am very, very big on the education part. I can sell in my sleep. And I could probably sell you something without truly educating you, but I don't like that because I want to make sure that you know what you're getting. So I'm doing the Medicare 101. What is Medicare? What's A, B, C, and D? We're going through the whole process of making sure you understand when you need to enroll, how you need to enroll, what are your options? You're going to do a supplemental plan? Are we doing a Medicare Advantage plan? We're going to go through all of those options with them because I want to make sure that you are very clear because they're coming to us confused. They're coming to me
for sure
because they need help.
Yep.
So I need to make sure that you are very clear before we get to the next step of me having you sign anything. I want to make sure that you know why you're choosing that plan, why this is the best plan option for you, and how this plan is going to work for you, and then what our relationship is going to look like.
Yeah.
And then we're talking about expansion. So, and not that I have not had the ability to do this, because I have with certain carriers that I'm contracted with, but something recently happened and my father passed away within the past 6 weeks, 7, 8 weeks, something like that. And during that time, and we talk about this, and I know you do it as well, we will talk to the clients during a presentation about skilled nursing. We talk about how long-term care is not covered, but it doesn't get you until you're living in the moment. when I'm sitting there saying, oh, yeah, the first 20 days, you don't pay anything for skilled nursing on most plans. You don't pay anything. But on day 21, you have to start paying 200 and whatever it is this year, 218 a day. That hit me when I'm sitting there and it's being said to me by the other side when they're saying, your father may have to go into a nursing home or skilled nursing. Do you understand the implications? I would say, stop. You don't have to go any further and explain it. I totally understand. So what I am committed to moving forward is that every client that I am dealing with, we're going through Medicare, but I'm also filling the gaps now.
Yep.
So I want to make sure that you know about hospital indemnity, because we do know that your hospital stay is not completely covered. You're going to have a copay. I want to make sure that you have some short-term coverage so that now when they're talking to you about skilled nursing or nursing home or home health, that you know that you're going to get some money coming in to help with those expenses. So I'm starting to talking to my clients about cancer, stroke, heart attack plans. So I'm moving, as I said, expansion for this year.
Yeah.
Whereas let's do the whole package.
For sure.
Let's not only do the health side, but let's do the whole package of when you're retiring, and making sure that all of your healthcare needs for you or your loved one, if we're dealing with the children of the family member, whoever, they're completely covered as much as possible.
Yep.
So that's my next phase. Like I said, I'm real big on education, and I'm going to continue to make sure that any client that I am working with, that you have a clear understanding of not only Medicare, but the gaps in Medicare and how you can be covered and making sure that you can fill those gaps. It's an option. You don't have to do it, but I'm going to certainly share it with you.
Yep.
So that you can make sure that you are as protected as you can possibly be.
Yep. Absolutely. I mean, that's why that's why this book is named The Medicare Manor.
Yeah.
Because it is all about building that house of coverage. There are two specific diagrams in there that have a house built out, and you have it on the Medicare Advantage side and you have it on the Medicare Supplement side. And these are how we can build that house of coverage that relate to those exact different types of products that you were mentioning there. So if anybody wants to work with you, what's the best way for them to get in touch with you?
Two ways. Best way is you can still pick up the phone and call me. You can call me at 412-638-1026. That will take you straight to reaching me, or go on my website, which is brazielbenefits.com. All my contact information is there. You can go there. You can schedule an appointment, get on my calendar. You can find more resources on my website. You can even enroll off of my website if you would choose to, but I don't want you to leave me out of the process. But yeah, you can go right on my website or call me directly. Awesome. And I will definitely get back. And I do make sure that if you call me, and it is on my voicemail, that I'm back with you within at least 48 hours.
Yeah.
Now, it might be AP. It might be a little bit longer depending on the time of year, but I'm getting back to you within 48 hours.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I appreciate you joining me today. Really enjoyed the conversation. It was great.
I really did. Thank you for inviting me.
For sure. Okay. Awesome. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Agent Spotlight Podcast. I hope you enjoyed the content that we went through today. If you're interested in learning more and any of this resonated with you, please feel free to check out our website, nimbroker.com. Give us a call, 412-782-1979, or send us an email at info@nimbroker.com. It's never too late to get started in Medicare. We're here to partner with you. We only win if you win.